American dairy prices have been under siege for several years due to production outpacing demand and a blockade to expansion in Canadian markets. Wisconsin, the country's #2 dairy state, has seen its herd size fall 40% over the past decade as more farms consolidate or bow out of the business. House Agriculture Committee Chair Colin Peterson of Minnesota says the stress on dairy producers competing in world markets is hurting the small-town way of life.
We're competing against New Zealand and other places that are very low-cost producers. The way the industry has moved ahead, they have a world market, that we now have to compete in, and that's forced the prices to be more competitive. So it's made it difficult for small producers to be able to compete because they have higher cost per hundredweight than a large producer, just because of economies of scale. But in my part of the world and in Wisconsin and places like Vermont, some of these small towns would cease to exist if those small producers were not there. So that's why I made it my mission to get a program for us, small producers. They only produce 14% of the milk, so they're not going to collapse the market, and it's a way to try to maintain that way of life out in rural America.
The problem is hitting more than just the dairy industry. Farmers producing corn and soybeans have been riding a roller coaster of bad news for over a year. Grain prices tumbled this week on news of good growing weather and threats by President Trump of increased tariffs on Chinese goods. The president's threat was motivated by China failing to make promised purchases of U.S. farm goods. The move sent commodity prices into a steep dive shortly after the announcement. The trade war with China has brought tough times for many producers. USDA officials have offered farmers assistance through market facilitation program payments. However, House Agriculture Committee Ranking Member Mike Conaway of Texas sees MFP payments as necessary, but only as a short-term fix.
Times are hard in production agriculture, which means they're going to be hard in rural America because it's a symbiotic relationship between producers and how profitable they are, as well as how then they're able to spend their money within their communities and help prosper rural America. So hard times, but we've got a safety net in place that, thank goodness, that will help alleviate some of those issues. These market facilitation payments will be a good shot in the arm, but it's a relatively one-time deal. Although there may be 3 payments associated with it, it's not something you could count on year after year after year, but it'll certainly help near term with respect to the folks who get those checks in August.
The latest edition of the Market Facilitation Program was announced last week and has already seen many producers heading to their local FSA offices to complete the sign-up. However, the question of how much grain will be harvested this crop year remains uncertain for growers and commodity market traders.
Large parts of this country are having challenges. I've been to some areas in the Northeast where we have a tremendous looking corn crop right alongside a crop that's only waist high in July and has a long ways to go. So it's really hard for me in my anecdotal piece, either in conversations or in seeing the crop, to be able to have a good analysis of where those challenges are. But we have challenges in large parts of the country to our crop. While we have some good crops in many of the places of the country, we also have some real challenges.
The 2018 Farm Bill contained landmark provisions allowing hemp to be grown for a profit. While Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell, a Republican, has wholeheartedly endorsed the alternative crop, Conaway has reservations.
I'm worried that we've opened Pandora's box, and so we're trying to get as much information as we can.